Konbanwa gamers. Alright, this is the back half of what I really hope it's only a two-part series about putting my Alpha 58 back together. We left off with me having messed up getting all the ribbon cables back in. So that was pretty embarrassing because I even said, man, I hope I don't forget any of the ribbon cables. And so, it's kind of been cheesed. So this one in particular, trying to get my tripod not fall over. That one in particular, I think is still unplugged because I forgot to plug it back in. And I needed it out to take out the power unit. So we got to take this back plate off, and that's where we left off last night, having once again removed the main board for the second time now. At least this is not too bad. We'll get that out of the way somewhere safe. If I remember right, looking at actually, that's why I have the manual, so I don't need to remember. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, number 12s. So let's get this out real quick. I should at least go into our 12 bucket. Plate should just lift right off, and it does, so that's good. And so the question is, that's not where I thought anything was going. So, SD card slot. So if it's like that, we've only got one ribbon cable connector right there, and yet we've got 2 ribbon cables. So that question is, where exactly are these things supposed to go on the camera front side? We only have cables, no sockets. And on the camera front, same thing, ribbon, no socket. And so the question is, where the hell is that cable supposed to go? Because I did not take it apart further than this. We've only got this on and that on. And so let's go back to the manual and figure out where exactly all this stuff is supposed to go. I'm starting to wonder if I actually, in fact, missed something when we got the power unit, or kind of like the power panel, or whatever they call it, the power input side. Because it looks like, you know, so let's go back over here. So this guy is that one that we saw right there. That's A. And where it looks like it's supposed to go is wrapped around this right here, which frankly I don't think I'm seeing. Because that's the little speaker right there that's soldered onto this right here. And then I think this is the ribbon conduit for both the USB and the HDMI and the microphone. And it looks like it's supposed to go on this intermediary piece right here, but that never came off. This battery holder section never came out, and this imager section definitely never came out, because that's what imager section should be, that piece directly. And then this is the battery unit right here. And so that never came out because that was never the issue. And so there's this mystery ribbon coming from anything on the flash unit? No, only ribbons to, no ribbons from. So something is not really making any sense to me. Because where the hell is stuff supposed to go? Well, let's see if we head back into one of these other sections. Like, here's J, which is definitely that piece from the power unit. And then K would look to be looks like the actual power input. So that's the DC input into K, which is that little 3 position. That one. Right. There it is. That one right there. So the question is, where is all the stuff supposed to attach, knowing that it went together once and kind of needs to go back together again? Because it sure looks like every single position is going to be occupied, because this one will come up by that one, because that's what indicated on the diagram by J right there. So I must have done something that I didn't want to do somehow, and I couldn't really explain how I did that, because it doesn't even really look like this is going anywhere. I mean, I really don't know what ribbon cable that could even be at that point. So like, here's the whole imager section. That's, I think, that right there, held in by 4 screws at the top. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so definitely no way I was messing with that, because that's just not something I need to touch. And so the question is, where the hell did I pull it out from? Because I'm not even sure what this could be. Battery holder section, didn't touch that. Mirror box subunit, didn't touch that. That's all the front side. This is the autofocus motor. Here's the gear drive for the autofocus output. The cables I did not want to buy from Sony because they cost money. And I was like, how hard can it be? And then it turns out, you know, it'd be like that. Souse the cleaning cloth in ethyl alcohol. I don't want to touch that at all. I definitely did not clean that right, so hopefully it's fine. I have no idea where this ribbon cable is supposed to come from. I mean, it's clearly it's got to be. Well, you know, I don't know, because yeah, that one definitely goes up. This is the question. That one, because that's J. In the mainboard diagram. That one is what I don't know. And I really cannot see an obvious place for it because, you know, it can only reasonably go somewhere in here. And unless that's it right there, there's no way that could have reached. Oh, well, you know. Oh, well, shit, it actually did. Okay, so we actually have to undo most of what we did yesterday, thankfully. I guess most of what we did yesterday is not a whole lot anymore. Okay, so power unit needs to come out, which means that we go 1, 2, and then this loops the backside. And then that's how we solve that problem. It would be cooler if I were smarter and just kind of like didn't make mistakes like that. Because yeah, that would be cool. So let's also figure out what screws these are. So let's go back to our assembly. So 112 from up top. And then on this bottom plate, it's 12s. Okay, so into the bucket. And then we need to get this one out of here. All right, so power unit should. Oh, so it's actually held captive, even with those screws out, by the bottom plate. So literally everything that we did yesterday, we're actually going to undo because, you know, it'd be like that sometimes. So let's go back to our chart. Okay, so these are all 12s, the remaining. So we need to pull the bottom plate out. And so, yeah, yesterday was basically um, for nothing. So that part feels kind of bad. But I guess we get to do it again. So that's fun. I guess we're spending time together, doing our hobby. I guess. Honestly, I just kind of want this thing to work now. I'm super over this. No, that's not true. I'm sorry, camera. It's not your fault. And making sure all our screws end up in the right bucket. So that way, when we put these back on, and hopefully just a few minutes, because we're going to do it right this time, right? Yeah, definitely. It's my favorite thing, fucking up. Yeah, anyways. All right, so bottom plate out. Or whatever exactly. Power unit out. All right, and then this. Oh, crap. I am pretty sure I just got a finger full of. Yeah, I did. Damn it. I got stuck my finger squarely on the mirror, the thing that they said be extremely careful about cleaning, and dunk your little cleaning thing in ethyl alcohol. We're super not doing that because this is that kind of channel. And so it's going to get a wipe with my cleaning cloth. We're going to. Oh man, there's a lot of dust on that thing. Thankfully, I think it's probably static. And so I actually have, for a bunch of, oh crap, uh, a bunch of different reasons, a static, anti-static brush. And so it's got the big floppy fan, and then on the back side, it's got the little delicate side. I think we probably want to use this. We'll try the floppy fan first and get it as clean as we can, and then see. This is really not what Sony wants people to do. So if you're seeing this, anybody from the company, I'm sorry. I swear it's not usually like this, but maybe you prefer the lie. Well, I've seen a lot worse. So we're gonna call that pretty successful as far as stuff on the channel goes. Frankly, my stuff in my life goes. All right, let's get this capped back up. And let's try to put this away nicer this time because these things are, while not the most expensive thing out there, they are not cheap enough where I can just be like, I don't care, I don't make that kind of money. Uh, Not like those rich kids who get to just buy whatever they want whenever they decide they want something. I wonder what that's like. Sounds cool. I wouldn't know. All right, so we've got this safely. Oh, wasn't really happy with that. I really put the heavy duty in this heavy duty Mylar or whatever it is. All right. We're so close. There it is. All right, let's get that. Okay, that's not terrible. All right, so power unit back on, making sure to get this ribbon cable in the right spot this time. So this comes out and away as we drop this back in place. And this loops under. That sits. And that sits just like that. Oops, not like that. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's wonder what the proper order of operations for this is. Probably ribbon cable first, and then we maneuver the rest of it into place. This is kind of a neat little bus system, now that I have thought about it more than the 30 seconds necessary to understand what it's doing and how it's doing it. If every ribbon cable takes me this long, we're in trouble today. Wouldn't be surprised if this turns into a 3-part series, considering that the first part of this 2-parter was completely undone in about 30 seconds. Okay, all right. I forgot that that's not really secure down either, so maybe we got to do something like, I don't really know. I don't really have enough light on the back side, on like my left side, because the way the lamp is positioned in the desk. So this is quite a bit darker than I would like for these kinds of things. Let's get that out of the way, maybe. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Okay, this might be the winner right here. That was all right. There we go. Okay, so now up and through, right, like that. All right, good stuff. Let's see. I think that was a number 12, right? Last thing I want to do is strip something out because there are no extras, and I'm not feeling lucky about finding one of these M17 by 5 tappings. That's not a something. Okay, so 112. That right in there. That brings it more or less into square, and then from here we can put our bottom plate back on, oriented according to the locator pins, right like this. Thank you, Sony. They did a pretty good job making this dummy proof. Well, it's dummy proof if it works after I get my hands on it. So far, though, it's not been their fault, which is about the most you can say for like a manual or something. Like, if it's only my fault it doesn't work, then they did their job. So it's I'm pretty sure it's again number 12s. Okay, yep. So that was the right guess because that's most of what the camera is. Let's get the bottom plate in, and then we'll do a better job about getting that main board and ribbons in. Here's the second. Not the second. Really wish this thing was magnetized. I'm amazed it's lived. I think this tool's 30 years old at least. Might even be 35 or 40. And somehow it, well, okay, I actually have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's at least 20, 25. And I'm fairly confident it's around 30 at least. And somehow it's gone its entire life not being magnetized, which doesn't make any sense. But that's how it is, so that's what we got, so whatever. It's the first driver and only driver I found that actually fit these number 12s. Or was it? No, it was like a number one. Oh, it was number 112. That was the problem. That's the screw for the diopter adjust, which is literally the first thing you have to remove to start disassembling it. And all the drivers I found wouldn't fit that one, and I was worried that I was stripping it out. And so this is what I found. And oh, Shazbot. I don't suppose we saw where that went, huh? Nope. That's disappointing, huh? Yeah, so I hope that appears. And there it is. All right, thankfully it fell into my lap. And then when I stood up, I was able to get it to shake out. So that's extremely fortuitous in a way that doesn't usually happen. Why am I getting notifications about something that I shouldn't have to worry about? Okay, that's why. All right. All right, let's try that again. Okay, and so this is the last screw of the bottom plate, and then now we can get this back plate in. Back plate orients, I believe it's like this, but always worth checking. Okay, so we were right, and this is exclusively 1, 2, 3, 4 number 12s, and then the main board has a single 109 that comes through it, but we need this first. All right, so now we're back to about where we were. Making sure that we don't trap any of our ribbon cables underneath, otherwise we'll be doing this again, which I guess isn't the worst thing. We're getting kind of good at it, huh? Okay. All right, and that locates in thanks to these locator pins. What did I say, 12? Yeah. Now, whenever dealing with like plates and stuff, I always go, or like to go when possible, unless unless otherwise specifically informed for the same reason, to make sure that like we're applying equal torque, force down, but also to further help locate and just kind of trap in position the plate. So like with only one of n screw positions actually in, you don't necessarily have positive like entrapment of the piece. And depending on what you're doing, you might also have like unequal torque, which could start pulling things out of square, like gaskets, if there's something underneath. And so, I always kind of, it's like changing a tire. You want to apply even torque or remove torque evenly to ensure that everything is just, you're basically not pulling things out of place or out of shape. There's also, like I said, that useful pragmatic effect of it holds things in places better, if you do opposites. Because there's no way this is going to move. Like, really shouldn't move because it has these pins with only one in. You know, even with 0 in, it was held in there pretty good. But with 2 in, it's definitely not moving anywhere, and I don't have to worry about trying to not just align the screw, you know, get it literally in place, but also try to have to locate and move the thing that we're actually screwing back in, you know, installing. Um, at the same time, which gets really old really fast. All right, so we're now basically back to where we were 30 minutes ago. That's pretty speedy for this kind of stuff. And then now what we got to do is get our underside. So SD card through here, and I had the big brain genius yesterday of not having it installed, and that surely made things a lot easier. And so first we got to do these under 1, 2, 3 cables, and then getting our this guy right here. So I had an idea actually earlier today while I was at work. Because I was thinking, it's the length of lead really that's the problem. You know, if we want to have this sitting about where it was or where it, you know, kind of sat in original, you know, the original jack down here, it doesn't really want to do that because it's so much taller, the physical plug. And so that's not the same pitch, unfortunately. So that looks like it's 1.5. Yeah, there's probably no way this thing's going to focus on this, huh? I don't even know how it's determining focus. I thought it would have been center weighted, but it honestly doesn't seem to even be that. I think that's probably readable for the viewer at home. Oh man, it has this moments of like accuracy, which is really what kills me. Is that it's almost there. Anyways, this appears to be a 1 point. Can't quite read it when I had it down there. Appears to be probably a 1.5 pitch facing, which is a connector style that I don't think I have on hand. Yeah, I don't have on hand. I've got like 2 and 2.5s, but I don't have any 3-pin. And so I was hoping that maybe this is just what I had lying around. This is 2.5 mil spacing pitch, and that means, again, not that I can probably get this thing to do what I want, but it'd be cool if it did. That should be 2.5 mil. Yeah, so 2.5 mil, 2.5 mm pitch, describing the spacing between each pin. So too big by a significant amount. But I think what I'm going to do off camera, maybe, I don't know, soldering is, I don't know, maybe, uh, pull this off, extend these, and then basically reattach that. And so instead of fighting with the reinstall and stuff, I'm just going to have this kind of dangling out. And then I brought some RTV with me, and then this will essentially gap fill and close out the hole that would otherwise be left in the input jack right there. And then so this should also help with strain relief because this is not a very robust plug. So that way when it inevitably gets like pulled or tugged on, I'm not like just yoinking on the board. So that was my big idea, and it's not that much work to like solder on that little splice patch extender. and it'll probably just work a lot better long run. So I think that's just what we're going to do, and just it's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. Unless, unless Dark Horse has an idea with some stuff that is around on the desk. Chances that these are the same? Oh, baby. Those are the same. Can we confirm, though? This feels a little bit like robbing Peter to pay Paul, but one problem, like I can solve this cable problem, where that came from with money. It's like $1. Well, it would be cool if it was $1 too. It might be like 3 or 4, which is frankly still worth it. So there we go. That's not bad. And then what I can do here is just like I did here. Feels kind of bad chopping up a perfectly good extension like this, but like I said, just being lazy. I don't want to work hard. And if I can solve a problem with a couple dollars, that's frankly worth it to me. And so we'll clip um, probably that off, and then turn that into this XG30. But that'll be later, because with this we don't really need to worry about getting power in and out, because this is perfect. This will snake through, and we don't have to worry about that. So that really does make life a lot simpler in a lot of ways. And then I can replace the thing I took, so that way when I need that, I've got that later. But that's a significantly later sort of project where, that's not really a surprise. All right, so let's get these ribbon cables on. I think the easiest from yesterday was starting with the bottom. And I kind of don't remember how I remember how we got them uninstalled. I don't really remember how I got them installed, but it must have been something like this. I guess I could go watch the video, but I don't know. That seems a little too smart. That's not my brand, I guess. All right, there's one. And we got one more on the bottom. This interior one right there. And so let's get that lined up as best we can. Had it and then lost it. Easy come, easy go. I think that's engaged. Maybe. There's so little lead length on this thing, it's kind of hard to... Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then so there's these bottom cables. And we'll make sure that this time we get everything. And so far, so good. Up until you say something, that's when it all goes to shit, because hubris. That one is quite the pain right there. This was the one that gave us trouble. Oh, me trouble. Probably potentially entertained you last time. There we go. Okay, there we go. That is an extremely tight fit. This. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 under, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. These two are from the back plate. And then we have 1 and 2 from the flash unit. And then there should be one more open one, yep, right there, which is from the dial, rotary dial select. Oh, just kidding. That's actually the front panel. Rotary dial is where's the rotary dial? It's right here somewhere. Did I lose it? Oh, it's on the left. I could have sworn this was on the right. It's been a while since I've used this camera. For whatever reason, I was expecting it to be on the right. All right, so flash unit. Back in at great difficulty and mental cost. It just needs to line up once. However, getting that once can sometimes be huge. There it is.
Week of November 7th is recycling.
Alright, and then this top cable into that one there. Alright. Successfully unabused. That tucks in and away, and then we just have these significantly easier top. Well, in theory, so it's significantly easier. This needs to route down and away, and then the ribbon cable lies on top of that. I don't know if it needs to, but it would be a lot cooler if it did. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then this tucks in. Okay, there we go. Cool. Then from there, oh, you know what? We probably need to get some screws in the board before we keep messing with it, before we pull anything. So let's take a look at what we need. 1 109 and 4 12s. Sorry, 1 12, 4 109s. Thought that sounded kind of strange. I got a screw somewhere. I think I could put a number 2 and a number 12 on accident. thought, honestly. There we go. Okay. That one's going to probably be a pain in the ass. Maybe should have tried to get that in before. Like I said, if I thought things through, this would be a very different channel, very different life. So we're going to try not to think about it too much. Okay, there we go. All right, we're moving right along. Yeah, these are going to be, it's going to be somewhat tough. Well, we got to get done though, so let's just do our best. Okay. This one is extremely stiff. Good news is if we can get it slotted, it will almost fit itself in, just because of how the cable is actually physically. Let's get it, there we go. And then we can see how that basically took care of itself. So that was pretty nice. Let's get the little guy before we try dealing with that larger flat. So this might be a similar situation on this small one, where if we can get it physically lined up, it might take care of most of the rest for us, just of how. Yep. Cool. So that was pretty good. Now all that's left on this step of reassembly is just this guy. So this one is the only one that I found so far that uses kind of this typical ribbon latch, which is this little I have no idea how to make this thing focus on what I want to without actually manually focusing it. It's like it only wants to there. So this little part right here is the actual gate that opens and closes to keep this cable actually in, as opposed to all the rest of these, which are basically just press fit in, and are just so tight that they just kind of want to hold themselves. So that should mean that we don't have to do much, hopefully, to actually get it seated and installed. Basically just need to get it in the right spot, which looks to be the case right there. Then locking it, let's use the entire just like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. That went pretty okay for how these things usually go. Let's check what's next. All right, so backplate's on. That's so 4 didn't do 3 to 2 to 1. All our ribbon cables back in. All right, so now we are going to get our front body back on, and then our strobe light. Because that, or is it the other way around? Because this screw of the strobe flash unit plus hot shoe actually connects it to the front body. So that's how we get the, yeah, so that should just be. And that's what I meant about the power input jack being significantly easier to deal with like this. And I'm willing to deal with cannibalizing a cable as a later problem. Because that just really is so much easier to deal with. And there we go. That's the front body right there. And I am pretty sure, yep, I forgot something. But, you know, that's not too hard to take this thing back off. So, all right, making sure to secure this thing. Oh, wonder if we really do want to get this flash on first. Because once we get the main body on, we're going to have much worse access to the rest of the main board, where we do still have things that need to go back on and in. Yeah, so that's probably the sensible choice, I think, is to get this in, get our cables in. I am extremely looking forward to being able to use the camera for this kind of video where I can have significantly easier focus control in this piece of crap webcam. It feels like the only thing it'll do is occasionally what I want and mostly what it wants on a schedule, just completely alien to me. Unless I take manual focus, and even then, focus is so razor thin, and there's this delay on it. Trying to look through the preview on OBS that it's just not really what you want to do. Probably, I don't know. Right, flash power inputs. So from the cap in, from the battery to the cap, from the cap through here, parallel to the flash unit. All right, and then that leaves us. Now we can pop that up, install the front plate, keeping in mind this one, like the first time. This one's tough. There we go. And then that should, yep, just like that. Nice. Yeah, so that's what I mean about kind of like that little input hole. You know, actually, before we get this closed up, because I really don't want to be doing this again and again and again, let's use some of that RTV. And kind of make ourselves a little. I'll just have to sit there for now, I guess. Ooh, that's a heady smell. Trying to clean up the RTV so it's usable. The problem with the stuff is it forms kind of like a plug. This is probably not going to focus at all, huh? It forms kind of like a plug up in the cap, and so that's a pain for actually getting the new stuff out because it's got this big wad of dried up. So the scalpel, I'm sort of making progress. I'm actually just physically cutting it away, but the stuff is so gummy. But even if you slice, it doesn't really mean it's going to go anywhere. Okay, kind of see how like there's this. Oh, it's kind of like a little flap. That's the problem. Part of the problem, anyways. All right, problem's been solved good enough for my patience with this kind of thing. So let's get in here and just RTB this thing down. Kind of get like a healthy blob in there. And what we can do is with the same microscalpel slash spatula, just get in there and actually just massage it into this little section. Just like that. Just like that. And then kind of fold it over. So both working it in. And we can see how we largely succeeded in this task. And maybe give it a second little hit on the back end. Spatula tool. At some point, I actually had an actual spatula tool. I had all sorts of stuff. Where it all went, who knows? All right, there we go. And then that should give us something suitably gummy. So shock resistance and waterproofing and just kind of like space filling. But also gummy and a little squishy, stretchy for strain relief. Super important, especially for these small pitch, small pin plugs we're dealing with that really can't take much mechanical abuse on their own. Get that lying as flat as possible. Wipe as much of the excess off. And that looks stable, so try not to touch that too much for a couple minutes. Gotta clean that off. Man, RTP always leaves this like burn in my nose. I don't know what it is, but all right. So that's set up enough, maybe. Again, it's just to kind of mat it down, and it'll get a second shot later. Let's get this up and over. Keeping in mind that guy. This guy again. this cooperate with the flash unit in place. So it's jamming there because it's off. It's to fit. Or like that. So I hope I didn't do anything with that RTV. There we go. That's the culprit. Oh, definitely not helping with the RTV. That metal plate needs to come above the front body. So that means that the flash unit is sitting, or is it the other way actually? Let's take a look. Comes through. So F, oh, needs to actually so we can see that the front is shifted over a little bit. So feeling confident on anything I did with the RTV. It's just figuring out exactly what we got to do to get this. But it's about getting this flash unit installed properly first. And so we've got 4 number 2s through the top. 4 number 2s. 4 number 2s. Almost grabbed number 12s. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's probably the problem. Is that this needs to sit very specifically to actually make there we go. This one is buried in here, which I remember being extremely difficult to get to and required some sort of like mental gymnastics or something to really kind of get out of the way. Ribbon cable probably needs to lift out briefly. easier time getting this front section on, because it was fitting fine with the without the flash unit on. That's what I was trying to say. So there's probably also something about how these wires need to fit, but I don't think there's much. Yeah, there's really nothing in the manual about wire management or cable routing for these, so they probably just got to go wherever they can. The good news is, though, probably now that this is actually anchored down, should just go in, I think. Yeah, just like that. No, not almost just like that. Ah, okay. So there, that's part of the problem. Is yes, cable management is the issue. There we go. Okay, so with that, there's a lot of moving pieces in this thing. It's kind of funny because it's a mirrorless. Now it's actually going on too smoothly, too easily, before I can get the ribbon out of there. Okay, there we go. So, there we go. And that's the front section right there. And then looks like that's having more or less the intended effect. Just kind of space filling. A little, okay, that's a little uglier than I would have hoped for, but you know, this is kind of a bootleg sort of operation. All right, so cool. There we go. And then ribbon cable up and around. And this will be somewhat of a trick. There we go. Just kidding. There we go. Nice. And that pretty much just sits like that. Somewhat suspicious about this little silver ion. Fit focus. It probably won't focus. That's too far to read. Well, it's a CR. Oh, it's not a CR. It's an MI621. It's a little silver lithium silver. Probably bad, but last I remember, it was fine. So we'll find out. If I'm lucky, I don't have to replace it. If I am unlucky, then at least I know how to kind of do this now, and it's not too bad. Let's get the viewfinder as clean as possible while I'm here too, because that does make a difference. All right, that's basically it. We got 1, 2 on the back end. So let's take a look at how this back comes together. We've got 2s coming up through the bottom, and then we have 12 coming in through the sides. So let's take a look. 1, 2, 3 2s on the bottom. Oh, almost forgot. We are not done with this step yet. We still got that right there, which is a F is a 140. All right, let's get that guy in. Let's try to get that guy in. I remember this being easier. Well, you can see that actually this front plate isn't quite there. It is. Wasn't quite. Oh my god. This is going to be the screw that kills me probably. Just like that. There's really no good way to position this. All right, flash unit can come down. Nice. Oh, front grip, or right here. Head back to the claw. We've got 2 claws, 1, 2, and it looks like we've got 112 that goes in through it, and 1, 2 on the bottom, and then we have 4 number 2s left, so that's good. And we use the 4 number 2s up top. Okay, so claws number 1. And this does have a screw in it, 112 right there up through the bottom. All right, so back to the camp view. So 12 up through that hole right there. You can see on the light spot, there's on turkey. And then fits in like this, making sure that we get the claws indexed in. So claws kind of rock in and away. And that was pretty easy. I remember this feeling a lot bigger in the hand, actually. Well, I guess with like a big 400mm lens it does, because it's pounds and pounds of glass, but otherwise, I don't know, it'd be cool to have a full frame. I don't know what I'd do with it, but it would be cool to have it. All right, leave that off. Cool. All right. There's that. So I said 112 up through the bottom, if I remember right. Yeah, 112 through the bottom. And then you've got 112 in through the side. So bottom, side, both 12s. these things don't need to be super tight. So if it feels like it's too tight, it probably is. And it feels like if it's not moving, it probably isn't. Yeah, so that's good enough because there's going to be other pieces holding these in. So there we go. And then we've got oh, we missed a couple. Yeah, happens. So let's pull it. This is why you make stuff. Don't get things too tight that you can't undo them if you need to. This screw in particular is kind of a pain, just the way it's. There we go. Never mind. That works fine. Yeah, I'm sticking with kind of a pain. Make sure that we get 12s back in the 12 slot. Just thinking that seemed a little too easy. Alright, so grip rocks out because of those claws. So we just got to kind of lift it. And then, oh, sorry, kind of lifts, pulls out. Alright, and there's what we missed right there, 1 and 2, and that actually explains why that was probably so much more difficult to get in, was because that's the one you do last. So these are 12s right here. My hand will cooperate. There we go. One. Let's make it easy. And way dark in the shadow. Now illuminated. 2. And I think I may have cracked it just now. I don't know. Seems like I may have. You're really not going to get a shot at this, but oh, never mind. That's actually how it's molded. I thought I broke something. It looked like it was had from me torquing on it or something, which is again why you want to take it easy. All right, now hand grip goes back in, claws first into the assembly, and then the whole thing just rocks right into place. And snap fits. Cool. And then 12, 12. See how we are. We're running out of screws over here. It's a good sign. now we've got okay, so we got that. That's the grip. Here's the two under the grip. And then a third above the SD card, which actually probably should have gone first. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so I think actually we need to take that grip off again and do it right the first time. So let's once again extolling the value of not tightening your stuff so tight that you can't get it back out if needed. We'll get that out. And also putting things where they belong. Yep, so there, that's the one we missed, which gets filled by a single 12. Wouldn't it be so much easier if we did this right the first time? Probably. Wouldn't know, but probably. All right, now for the third time, fourth time. Claws down and in. Grip fits around and just snap fits in. Cool. Okay, there. now we're making progress. All right, so that was step C. We didn't need to do 4. We got 3, 2, 2, and then 1. So we are responsible now for 1, 2 more screws in the bottom. So with the camera oriented like this, we need a number 2 and a 12. So 2 is going to go right here, and then the 12 right out there. I did say left then right, not right then left, right? Okay, 2 on. 2. All right, what's next? Got this 140. We got these 2, 1, 1, so we've got fully occupied. Let's do a quick visual check to see if there is anything out of place. Okay, we can see that we're doing things right, because when I engage autofocus slider, we can see that the worm screw for the, or drive screw really, for the autofocus drive engages out. And when I click it down to manual focus, which is that position, which you can mostly make out if I'm in the shadow. There we go. Well, it's close. Then that same screw shunts in, because that's how we actually operate our focus ring, which I have a lens over here. So this is my old school Minolta 50mm prime, and we can see that there is the autofocus drive screw right there, and that engages with that because the lens sits in its bayonet right on top of, well, in fact, no need to pretend. It clicks right in. And then now if I'm in autofocus, cannot operate my focus ring. Down to manual focus, pulls the drive screw out, making space for the focus ring to actually spin because it's not being held in place. And we can focus. And so this is a fixed lens, and so there's no change in lens length. And so, because it's a prime, so it's a fixed 50mm, so all we have is just focus. So the advantage of this kind of lens is that it's very fast, and so what that means is that you can capture lots of light. It has a very low f-stop, which means that you can either do wacky depth of field memes if you're into that, or it means that you can shoot in low light situations, or use a high shutter speed, because that's basically the relationship. Is you can have, f-stop and shutter speed is affecting the light you gather, and so the less ambient light you have, or the light you can produce, say with, actually now that there it is. So light you can produce with the flash, and internal or external, operated through the hot shoe, or stuff like my lamp that's right. You can see that the hotspot is casting on my hand. We can shoot wide open, or we're forced to shoot much more closed. And so if there's low light, we have to use a lens that's very open, but then we start losing on depth of field. Or with a lens that can shoot very open, then even if we have, say, average daylight, we can do stuff that maybe we couldn't do with a lens that requires a very high f-stop. And so stuff like long exposures, short exposures kind of stuff. So if we want to do very short exposures, we need lots of light very quickly. We can throw open the f-stop, and you can make that happen in a way that you couldn't maybe on a different lens. So that's what makes, like 50mm primes kind of neat. They're also really short and light, so it's kind of like a nice walking around lens, as long as you know that you can't change the focal length, so there's no zoom. And so if you want to zoom in on things, you need to get closer, which is not always something you can do. Usually is, but isn't always. But if you're only going to have a couple of lenses, a 50mm is a good one to have, because they're not very expensive, especially these older Minolta A mounts, which are pretty much completely deprecated because Sony is on E mount now for their stuff like the A7s and the A9s. But there's lots and lots of Minolta A mounts and adapters, and so that's pretty much what I have. It's a Sony camera, but pretty basically all of my lenses are old Minolta, because that's the most affordable thing for me. In my opinion, they're also mostly the better a lot of the time, with the exception of like the new Zeiss lenses, which are really nice, but again, that's out of my price range. So you gotta settle for what you can get. break. Okay. So now we can actually get this backplate on. And pretty much that's really the last of it. And so we've got 2 number 5 screws still unaccounted for, so that's somewhat concerning actually. Let's try to figure out where those things came from. 2s, 12s, 112s. So I see 3 12s left and a handful of 12s and 112, so that's good. But now we need to figure out where these 5s came from. All right, so here's where I goofed. There's a pair of 5s right here that we did not respect. And these 1, 2, 4. Okay, so we need to hopefully. Where the heck? They are driving through. So that must be, well, actually, that's a good question. I don't want to say must be as if I know anything. Because if I did, I wouldn't have made a mistake like that. So let's think about this. Very long ribbon cable snaking. Main board's already in at this point, so there's nothing that I think we have to undo as much as figure out where exactly. Because that ribbon cable is this ribbon cable. No, it's not that ribbon cable. It is. Good question, actually. What even is that one? For the cogwheel coming before the grip comes on. That must be it. Well, let's get the grip off again then. Let's take a look. Okay, that must be it that we were looking at just there. We'll take a look again at the schematic or the diagram, but I think that's what we missed. This is why it's really, really, really good to number and sort, even if it's really tedious. All your hardware that you move out or that you pull out and you install, so that way when you go and reinstall it, if you realize that you have 2 of a matching pair, you can ask, okay, where the hell did this come from? All right, so 12 back in its spot. 12 back in its spot. Grip rocks out primarily. Rocks out. Okay, so what are we missing? That looks like an obvious spot because that does get covered. Oh, okay, that is an obvious spot. That, in fact, does get a oh, okay. Yeah, no, there's... I don't know. All right, let's see. So this part is clearly this unit right here. There's scroll wheel, and then we have which, oh, let's see. So right under this flange, there's a 5 that goes up and through. That doesn't seem familiar. Where else could a 5 may have been used? Oh, mainboard section. That's... Oh. No, so we didn't take that out at any point. This assembly. Ah, here they are. So, Shaz and Botsons. That does need to come off, doesn't it? Because those are right there. How? We were doing so good, huh? Alright, so get this thing off. What do we need to do? 1, 2. This battery tray doesn't fit very well anymore. If it ever did, anyways. It may not have. Alright, so let's, that really seems like it should be something right there. This piece. Because that, I don't think it's occupied at any point. Let's see what else. Yeah, alright, so. One, two, three, 4 5s. But I don't think that's our guy because if we look at it. No, let's just get this thing back off and we'll. So, got bottom plate, bottom case, 2 and a 12. Alright, and then this will pull. No, it won't. Almost. Because we have more screws we can undo. A bunch more. Top screws were 2s. And then that little 140. So let's start with the 140. Why? No reason. Doesn't really matter. The way this flash is positioned makes this really extremely difficult. So there's that right there. 140. Oops, that's the 109s. 140. I want to be accurate. Then, but they were number 2s. Yeah, 4 number 2s. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's a pain in it. Although Okay, yeah, so that's the viewfinder is the last two, which can stay in, which is what we want, actually. We don't really want to mess with that part of stuff. Might have to pull that out, but let's see if, oh, and then we still have these two right back here, which are 12s, I believe. 12s, yeah. So that empty slot could be that 5. And that's mirrored on the other side. So I think that's where those are supposed to go, and hopefully it should be a pretty straightforward. These are 12s? Is that what I said? Yeah. Alright, so this should now pretty much just pull off. Yes? No. One more? One more. That is a 12 right there. Okay, there we go. Oh, and so our ribbon cable popped right out anyways, so easy come, easy go. Not really a big deal now that we know what we're doing. Sort of clean up a little bit of the RTV over ooze. Let's pull that off. The nice part about this is pretty much comes off with the fingernail if you can get a solid press on it. You really don't need much nail. You know, I keep mine pretty short. Obviously use a knife if you need to. Easy enough, not a big deal. Alright, so that is probably what I missed with those 5s right there. Let's take a look at the flash unit specifically. Okay, yeah, so that's these guys right there, pretty much dead center. Then there was 2 12s that come in like this. Let's see, camera oriented like this. So front, right, left, rear. That must be the 2 shoulders that kind of hold in additionally the EVF. And then there's the top that actually hold in the flash unit. So I think that's what we've got going on. Probably. Maybe. It's new to me too. Because I said because, but it actually does kind of look like maybe I missed some up here too. So right on these two. I think that's what maybe that is. But let's see if we can trace it a little bit better. So This is with the EVF off, though, isn't it? Wonder if we actually want to take the EVF off too to verify, because that may have been an oversight on my part. No, that's better safe than sorry. Last thing you really do, really is not good when you end up with extra parts. So let's pull this off. Held on really just by this one right here. Okay, so we do have our 12s mounted through. That's actually on the metal plate itself, which is right there and right here. So that's good. We're looking good there. And so with pretty good confidence we can say that our fives came out of here. And why I actually pulled those off, I couldn't tell you, because I don't think that was actually necessary. And frankly, only seems like it might make things worse. But that's kind of just how some of the stuff goes sometimes, you know. So let's get that back in. Oh. I was looking for the ribbon cable, but it's right there. Okay, snug but not too tight. Ribbon cable reinstalled under the hook. Okay, this is pretty clever design, honestly. Okay, and then these kind of just tuck back in, sort of like that. Kind of like here, they go wherever they can fit. Okay, then we'll get yes, so that's also one that I think I was missing. So the EVF unit. Yeah, okay, so that's okay, that's part of the twos that I took out. So we'll get that sealed back in. Oh, I meant that one right there, part of the twos. Okay, so that takes care of our flash unit, which is now in there pretty darn good. And this wiggle is because, you know, it mounts to the actual front body plate through there. And then that's that one right there. So RTV, kind of a mess. Didn't realize how much further up it was going to need to come, but it is doing its job of kind of protecting, you know, strain relieving. So we now have kind of like a little gummy section that should hopefully live. Maybe. We'll find out. Now we need to get what are number 5s? 12. Oh, yeah. So I don't know why, because that whole thing removes. Oh, I must have probably thought I needed to. Um, maybe I did. I don't know. Whatever. This one's kind of a pain. No. So, where did that screw go? So that's definitely where it went. Now we just got to find its other. There we go. Okay. And those are number 5s. Okay, that's why I felt something move. I thought I broke something and I was very, very, very scared. Okay. What do we got? All right, now it looks like we can reattach the front face, making sure that we remember our
Who are you talking to? Are you making a video?
ribbon cable, because, you know, I have it. So, oh, oops, ribbon cable. Power plug, soldered later. Wraps around, and it should, without much fight, slot right in. I do say emphasis on should. Nice. Okay, so a little bit of minor resistance. If I remember, that's just what it did. Ah, okay, because we got the wire pinched. We got one of the pinks needs to kind of come in around and under like that. That should be far forward enough to let the rest of the body pass through. That sure looks like it's settled, but something is not happy on this. That's what it is. Not quite. Okay, so that's part of what it is. Needs to sit more like and then it can kind of be brought up and away. Wonder how this fit in. Oh, that okay. There we go. That's how we got to do it. Assuming I even had it right the first time, which, you know, kind of doubt. Like that. Then reposition. Go fish again. Reposition. There it is. That's the click. Cool. All right, so now we got that out. This clear. Back on. Get 140 in. Cool. Clicks down. Front face. You've got a pair of 12s on the interior. One, and two. Let's get those in. If I remember right, there was, yep, a 12 through the side before we get the grip back on. that's that 12 right there. Viewfinder, yep, got a nice big thumbprint on there again. So, oh man, you know, I think I may have damaged the mirror. Actually, that doesn't look good. Yeah, that is potentially problem causing. You can actually see it right there, I think. Yeah, there's a good photo of it. There's the lamp. Right there. So, I don't know. We'll find out. It's probably not a huge deal. Maybe it is. Won't know until we find out. So, let's gotta keep going. All right, let's see what else we gotta do. Okay, we got our 12s, we got our 2s and our 12, all 2s. Got our 12, got our 140. All right, so now we need to get our grip and our bottoms in. So, grip once more, probably for the last time. Shouldn't have said that, now it won't be. Claws in and click through. And bottom, we've got 1, 1 and 2 12s and 1, 2. So let's get that 2 first. And we know everything else is 12s. I think that piece I rubbed off was a piece of like vinyl or almost like a rubbery thing that had worn off at some point from part of the body. Because not every screw is going back in its original spot. For something like this, I really didn't think it was important to keep track of that kind of detail because, you know, at a certain point, a screw is a screw is a screw. For anything that isn't like hand built, hand lapped, hand, you know, fit kind of stuff, which a camera definitely does not count as. At least this kind of camera. Anyways, you know, something on the ISS could be different. What do I know there? Okay. Then I feel like I was missing a third, huh? Right above the battery tray. Oh, for the grip. Okay, so we got grip. Ah, there it is. Right there. And then over here needs a 12. get this wrong? I don't believe I did. Yeah, number 2 right next to the N50. And then across we have the 12, which is what I had right there. So user error, it's usually user error. If it feels like something's not working, it's probably user error. Just, double check. Not saying it for sure, just usually. And now it's threading. Tight, but not too tight. And that completes this section. We got both in over here. We got grip in. We got 3 on the bottom. All right, so now we just need to get this cable back in place. Went in like a cinch. That pros. That just needs to sit like that. Battery said I was going to replace. Kind of don't feel like it. We're just going to let it ride, see what happens. Let's get SD card back in there because it will probably complain. Cool. Like that. That's okay. Let's go back over to our assembly. And look at that. Almost done. We've got a couple number 2s left. 1, 2, 3 number 2s, which is not how many we have left. So that's, let's see, 1 right next to the battery tray. Oh, huh. That's a wheel. There's a first time for everything. Ah, okay, so I put a number 2 somewhere it doesn't belong, or I put a number 2 in ahead of schedule. So that's not great. Should be number 12, and okay, so I think the issue is somewhere in this section. I think that's where I goofed because we should have 3 2s going back in. So I put a 2 somewhere where it doesn't belong, but fit anyways, which makes sense. They're both 1.7s, but one's a 5mm tapping versus a 4mm machine thread. So they actually probably would fit one direction, not the other. So where might I have goofed? CE is a 12 and 50. That should be both 12s. I have 6 number 12s and 2 number 2s. I have a feeling that should probably be 5 and 3. The question is, where exactly did I go wrong? I mean, where could have it even frankly fit? have used a number 5 and maybe one of these on the grip, maybe. The good news is they are visually obvious, both because of the length and the thread differences. So that's definitely a 12. I have a feeling that maybe I've been putting a 5 in here the whole time. Nope, that's a 12. Grip. Remember how I said that was probably not the last time? Yeah. That could be it, maybe. Nope. Did I simply lose it? Like, is it in my lap like the last time? Nothing fell. Watching like a hawk. Possible I simply put one in the wrong spot. Nope, those are definitely 12s, and those are definitely 12s. So, where else could we have put them? One here, perhaps? $12. 12. Let's take a water break and think. All right, and nothing's magnetized here, so I don't think there's any likelihood of something being stuck to something, and I don't hear. And there's enough stuff loose enough where just shaking the thing, I don't think will really tell us much. I really don't think I lost a screw in there somewhere. I really do think I have one put in the wrong spot because I have the right amount wrong division. So the question is, where else could have stuff gone? Never took the cap off. So it would have to be using a 2 instead of a 12, which would really only be 3, 4 up there. Because, well, I mean, okay, I'm not going crazy. You definitely should have 3 2s on this bottom piece. 1, 2, 3, and unless I'm really losing it, don't believe anything interferes. You know, as in slides on top of each other. nothing goes. Does I have a screw there? Oh, let's see. Well, that's pretty weird, isn't it, gang? I'm probably of the opinion that we just close the thing up, and I will find at some point what is that, 1.7 by 4 next time I'm at the hardware store or something, because that's just, it's really not mission critical for that bottom plate for this use case. So let's start here. That takes care of that. Then rock and it's the first time it hasn't gone nicely. There we go. Boom. Perfect. That may have been the issue right there, is putting that on. Well, anyways. Oh, we forgot one, didn't we? Yeah. Well, let's humor ourselves. Maybe I put something in the wrong spot. That's 12. And this is definitely the 2 from earlier, because this one's had that rubber stuck to it. Definitely a 2. Okay. And in. And in. And both of those are 12s. have what on the left face. Puff the SD card. Okay, that is going to get covered by the front plate, it looks like. Yeah. So 12, 12, 12. Unique little diopter 112 comes through here. That's actually what retains that right into there. And then it's got a 12 on the side. It's actually got two 12s. The 112 is right there. And then here's our 3 2s, which is what we're missing. So, I don't know. It's weird. Really not sure what I'm missing or where I could be missing it, but be like that, I guess. All right. Now we got ribbon cables. Last two. And so thought these might be easier because of the angle, but actually seeming to be not the case. Then Yeah. Get the tab spot. That's pretty much the completed. Got a couple more screws to drop in, but that's basically it. Um, so let's get that closed up as best we can, knowing that somewhere along the way we've got plus one. That would mean that wherever there's supposed to be a screw, there is. Everything on the body is going to be a 12, I think. But yeah, less the 3. There should be a 12 down here too, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there'll be 4 twos down here. Find out. Okay, that's still working. All right. 2 12s, 2 12s, 2 12. Don't do what I just did where you like, yeah, I'll remember when I put a black screw on a black band. Don't do that. Constructing. Flappy. Oh, okay. So there's something. We've jammed autofocus, manual focus now. So that was working. Now it's not, which means that pulling the front plate off again. So let's get this rear cover. Figure out why that autofocus. Yep. these things without even really needing to look anymore. Taking them out so many times. Two. Yeah, these are going to need to come out, I think. Yeah. Come here we go. Separate. Cool. Two. Probably like the world's foremost expert on reassembling this part of an SLT-A58 now. How long this thing's been discontinued for? Right, these guys. Cable off the front. Go. Backplate off. Now that I know these things are put in. Easy there to take out. Not so much easier to put in, but they gotta go. All right. Go. Figure out what jammed out our nothing. Completely fine with absolutely zero effort. Sound like there's a screw lost inside. Um, the other stern, where that number two could have gone. Okay. And definitely, we're supposed to have two number Fortitude. Installed it. So it's at 3 number 2s recovered. I think we need 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it's missing sometimes. Sasquatch? That is the theory at work is whenever a coworker's item gets misplaced, it's not him, obviously. It's Sasquatch phases, which is why nobody's caught him on camera. I think that's the Expedition Bigfoot takeaway. And, yeah, anyways, blocked. So let's focus, hold down. The focus slider. See the drive screw. So up for autofocus, down for manual focus, up for autofocus. Take my word for it. That says AF down for manual focus. So down and down. That was probably the problem. I bet I accidentally knocked it up and then I jammed it. So let's be a little bit more careful this time. I think this is probably where I cheesed it. Not being careful enough. I was looping this through and around. Sides that need to line up just right. There it is. Okay. Yep. Cool. Just clicks right in. Now, that was the problem. Cable in, row, 2 2s. Forty. Two 12s. stays open. Low. Two, 5, 6. 7, 12. So yeah, I put a 2 somewhere where it doesn't belong, which frankly I don't even really know how you do because they're threaded differently and everything. I didn't force that. Man, pretty good. Getting those wrong. Really nothing that looks like a number 2. That's what number 2s look like. Yeah. And it focuses this close too. Well, how they decided this would be number 12, I really have no idea. Considering how many there are of them. I don't know. What do I know? Maybe Sony just likes the way 12 sounds. Number 12. 2. Diopter wheel that I told everybody about. And that goes on until it's snug. Okay. Got we're supposed to have a pair of 12s, but I goofed it, as you can see. That out without needing to really undo a bunch of stuff. Answers, I think so, but I feel bad. You have to treat the machine a little. Sorry, buddy. That's the danger zone. Tweezers, very nice. Crisis averted, marginally. Pieces like this, sometimes it's very nice to just get them partially started just so nothing falls out. That way you can rotate the piece into a more comfortable finish. Torquing bolts or assembling. So that we don't have things falling out on it. Plate. And over, just like that. That's your little gummy for your eye finder, which we need to clean again big time. You really want to get this thing clean once and then not get it dirty again, because once you get this plate on, it makes it significantly harder to get access to. I had like proper tools, probably not a big deal, but again, it's not that kind of channel. Feel that a bit. Autofocus. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, that wasn't the promise. The fact that we need 4 of these and 1 of these, and we have 2 of these and 3 of these. Eh, can't see anything because without a lens, not really much to see, but it's an electronic viewfinder. That's what makes Sony's kind of less than equal sometimes, because you could potentially line up a shot maybe with like a Canon or an Nikon. You know, it's not mirrorless. I don't know. I don't do theory like that really. All right, so you should have 5 or 2s in camera oriented like this. 1, 2, 3 2s. So let's put those there. Yeah, we have two screws of the wrong type. We need two. So definitely we're supposed to have 12 in that position. So we'll get a 12 in there for sure. And, I'm kind of feeling lucky about not having that last screw in there. Like, this thing is going to live the rest of its life on um, a desk or something, just because if I remember right, like that SD card thing just never really fixed itself. Like, there's nothing to do. Sometimes it would, and you would power cycle a bunch, and then you get lucky. And then every time I powered off, I was like, oh. And for kicks, let's just see what happens if we try to thread a 12 into that 2 slot. My guess is that it should be completely. But apparently it'll thread in anyway. Ooh, yeah, no, no, it dealt. We'll make a deal. Not ideal, but it is what it is. So that is one completely reassembled um, SLT-A58 with a little 50 millimeter pancake lens on. So, and then earlier today, this is my voltage regulator, fully programmable, which is why it has a 3-pin on it, in addition to the 2-pin, power that I installed earlier. Um, this is for programming, and so now it's set to that 7.6 volts, and so I actually forget which way is supposed to be which now. Blue Sharpie? I got blue Sharpie. Just right. I mean, that's the right angle. That clear. typically they would be opposite polarity, male, female, but for this application, it would be a lot easier. Female, female, based on how I already had stuff rigged, but it actually, yeah, so capital CCP, adjustable 4.8 to 9 point. Oh, yeah, I had 0.1 increments, which is pretty cool. I'm supposed to increment that. I think I know that ideally, the plan is to get the player like that. Here, probably not put it on, maybe something like that, but maybe I'll give it that much length. I don't know, find the slack somehow. Yeah, 3 hours of stuff. So let's kick it over to the friends. Thanks for watching. And thanks. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have the Sony the 8 Alpha, I hope this might be useful for you. I'll send you the level 2 and level 3 service manuals if you need them. Let me know. Uh, see you next time. Thanks for watching.